Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Sister Su Ching.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll start. Okay. A warm welcome to our Bookmasters, Brother Johan, Hualien Dharma team, and brothers and sisters around the globe to Saturday Hualien Dharma Talk. A very good morning. Let us start the session for today. Today, I would like to share a short accepted master's speech, Resolving and Transforming the Minds. When we discover a charity case, we should care for them together. We should also talk to their children and relatives, guiding and inspiring the conscience within them. By encouraging and praising them, we help bring their hearts together. The Buddha came to this world to guide and teach sentient beings. All of us in this human world are here to learn, learning how to resolve and transform minds of sentient beings, and in guiding all to know how to love and care for our families truly. This is accepted by Sister Ho Xin Qin from Singapore. Okay, thank you for Gaan for Master's teaching. Now let us send our sincere prayers into the 10 directions. May the Saha land be free from disaster and peace prevails in the world. Let us sing the prayer song with sincere piousness.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners of the world, let us join our hearts and pray for a world of harmony and peace. In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. May all the Buddhas hear my prayer. All united with one heart, let us end our hate with love. May there be no suffering hereafter.
May all minds be purified. May there be peace in the community. May there be no disasters in this world. Let us pray together for universal love and blessing. With loving respect, gratitude, and confidence, let us wish every person in our lives a healthy body, an enlightened mind, and a total fulfillment in universal love. Now, let us expand this consciousness to include every person in the world every beings in the universe. Let our unified love make this wonderful world even better. Let us all immerse ourselves in the joyful embrace of universal love. Before we hear the wonderful sharing, let us invite our masters to lead us in paying homage to the Triple Gems. Let us pay our respects for these teachings and explanations to the Buddha and Master Cheng Yen by making 3 sincere bows. Please rise, palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved masters who could join us today. Ka'an. So today we have 3 sharers. We have Brother Huang on the Dharma Insights, and then Sister Su Ching will be sharing on Be Tempted by Tempeh, and then followed by Sister Su Ching will be sharing on lessons, change, and missions. So before that, let us invite Sister Su Ching for the weekly summary. Yeah, Sister Su Ching, over to you. Ka'an.
Thank you so much, Sister Lily. Okay, let me draw this out. Okay, last week we had altogether 2 sharings and 5 speakers. Brother Johan came first. He said, "Half the year is gone." Brother Joe gently shared. Then back to Dharma straight, so well prepared. In the early days, the Buddha laid the base, teaching the teachers steady in their pace. Knowledge will vanish if we don't teach right. Just knowing alone won't bring inner light. In chapter 1, the stage was clearly set for passing on truth, lest we all forget. Academics may hold but not bestow, but teachers must teach for truth to grow. Great teachers once walked this very same land, so Buddha's wisdom still goes hand in hand. To be a teacher, you must practice too. Walk the path daily, both steady and true. The Dharma was there like a meal to make, but without a chef, it will not awake. While each of us has the power to choose and to act, vows guide our hands when the world pulls us back. A dish from each teacher may taste unique, but truth's not confined to one voice we seek. Don't cling to form or the way it's expressed. True wisdom adapts, not stuck or repressed. The teaching is more than rules to obey. It guides what feels right in each time and way. Okay, then we had Sister Meeting, Sister Doreen, Sister Faye, Sister Su Yong. And they spoke about nurturing hope with love. And this is about the IDDEC program. Sister Meeting asked why 2020 still feels so near. COVID struck, schools closed, hardship growing year by year. Thousands of children dropped out, lost and left behind. No devices, no data, no structured daily grind. Titi rose and asked, "What can we do?" IDDEC was born, small team with an audacious big view. Sister Doreen shared how it started as a wish, 3 classes, humanistic lesson in a compassionate dish. 2 subjects, small groups, once a week they learn, with 60 minutes of value, a heartfelt return. Not just maths and English, but life they gain. Gratitude and love slowly ease the pain. Home visits by volunteers, so no child walks alone. Each home is touched, each seed lovingly sown. Sister Faye spoke to the core team's deep care. Tutors and volunteers infuse love into the air. Go far, go together is their daily song. In this shared journey, we all belong. Tutors once, students now give back in kind, teaching with love, shaping heart and mind. A good teacher is one who truly loves deep, uplifts a child from shadows they keep. Sister Su Yong watched shy ones bravely bloom, from silence and pain to lighting up a room. A towel once covered a student's face each day. Now she stands proud with much to say. Another scored 9 A's despite her family strain, proof that kindness is never in vain. From a short plan to a lifelong spark, IDDEC hopes in corners once dark. ideate lights hope in corners 1 star. Guided by Buddha, they rise, they strive. Tzu gives more than class, it changes lives. Okay, thank you for listening. I hand over to Donna. To Brother Chin. Brother Chin, are you there?
Kanan, so much. Good morning, Sister Su Ching, and good morning, everyone. Welcome another Saturday session on the English Heartwarming talk. And now we will continue with Brother Huang again this morning, and I'm going to share with us the Dharma Insights. And Brother Huang.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Brother Chin. Thanks for Sister Su Ching for the as always, wonderful recitation of the poems of what we have talked about last week. It's always a great, wonderful way to review. As a way of thanks to everybody that presented, as well as helping everybody to sort of recall and remember what was said. Okay, so today we are continuing on the Dharma Insight. I just wanted to share that. So we started this Sutra of Infinite Meanings back in last year, April 13th. And this is our 34th iteration where we are discussing the Dharma Insights. And as Master is going on a trip very soon, Sister Su Ching asked me if we are continuing. And I think that perhaps this timing is okay, 6:30 to 7, whereas before this time actually is a bit late, because usually we start daily at 7, but due to all these scheduling issues, we are now starting later. So 6:30 to 7 all of a sudden becomes okay. So I think we'll continue, and you know, it's something that I think helps everybody sort of bring back to a particular perspective. You know, if you ask me, is this really what the Buddha wants us to know or wants to teach us? I would tell you from my thinking, yes. And there were many indications that point us to this way. But can there be more than one interpretation? Absolutely. And I think that there is no wrong, and there is actually no, you know, there is no one definitive answer to say whether, you know, what did the Buddha mean? Because at the end of the day, I really believe that given the very limited time that the Buddha has, Buddha definitely knew that he only has limited time. And Buddha also knew that the total amount of Dharma that could be given is infinite. So you have limited time and you have infinite Dharma. Plus, the capacities of the people that you're teaching to, that the Buddha is teaching to, is also varying. So there are things that you can say, but it just won't be understood by the audience. So given all three of these considerations, time is limited, Dharma is unlimited, and there are things that you say cannot be understood by the people that's listening. Given all three, it is very safe to assume that Buddha must say something that we all understand, and is very important, and most important of all, because time is limited, that the Buddha has to teach us things that will allow us to figure things out further on our own. Because Buddha will not be there to continuously teach us. So there are things that we have to learn on our own. And we have to extrapolate from all the teachings that were given. So this is the starting point from from the way that I'm thinking is that there are things that we should extend on our own because we cannot just rely on the things that were said because the time was limited and Dharma is infinite. Therefore, there are things that we had to figure out for ourselves. We can't just fix ourselves within the bounds of what was said, but rather we should work on something more, the more than what was said, build on what was said, and then structure it so that we can continue further. Okay, so that's my premise for the Sutra of Infinite Meanings. So today we're going to continue. This is our 34th session, and it seems like we're moving very slowly because we're still not even finishing chapter 1 yet. So in the Sutra of Infinite Meaning, Buddha really began talking in chapter 2. So in chapter 1, virtues, everybody was just setting the stage, right? It's telling you who is coming, who is here, and they're doing what, and when is this, and where is this, right? It's all doing the setting. But I think it's most important about the setting. We have to understand where we are, okay? So if we have time, we're going to be talking about that as well. So today, we're going to be talking about the Sutra of Infinite Meanings, and we're still in chapter 1. We have gone through all these sections, but very quickly, what these sections mean. So section 1 and 2 actually tells you, right? There's a lot of numbers here, right? Tens of thousands came before the Buddha, the 80,000 Bodhisattva Mahasattvas. And what that means, it means that the Dharma actually fits everybody. It fits people of different backgrounds. It fits people of different problems. And it works for people with different problems. It works with all kinds of problems. Therefore, it is something that is definitely necessary and it's beneficial that we can continue this teaching, continue to pass this on. So the first 2 sections talk about the tens of thousand people, the 80,000 bodhisattvas. The number is great. It's big in a way that it tells you that all these people at the time of ancient India, that of all different castes and different backgrounds, actually all finds the Dharma workable, something that would solve their problems. So the first 2 sections talks about that. The next 2 sections talks about the students work very hard. The students, the disciples of this Dharma, you must work very hard to excel in it. You must work very hard to be able to understand the teachings and apply it. This is what's important in terms of the building up stage, where you understand the Dharma itself. The teaching is important. And so what do you do to acquire it? What do you do to understand it? So the students and the disciples must be diligent to keep their hearts and minds open and be observant and be willing to learn. That's very important. The students need to work hard too. The students need to apply themselves so that they can work hard to understand all the thing that fits everybody, right? It fits your problem, it fits their problem, it fits everybody's problems. But you need to work hard to apply it. You need to understand, you need to be diligent. So 5 and 6 talks about it's not enough for you only to know about this teaching. You have to be a good teacher to continue this teaching. And you have to be the one to pass on this teaching. So that's what 5 and 6 really talks about. In fact, 5, 6, 7, 8 all talks about this. And I think this is a very important turning point for Buddha's teaching. Because before Sutra of Infinite Meanings, the Buddha focuses more on the individual learning, right? It's almost like at the early stages of being a student, you need to first learn the material. You need to first learn your basic mathematics, your basic physics, your basic chemistry, your basic biology, your basic science, your basic everything, right? So that's what's necessary, right? The first 40 years is more focused on acquiring and practicing and applying all these wisdom. on yourself, by yourself, with yourself. However, beyond that, after 4 decades of teaching, the Buddha also realized that in order for the Dharma to continue to the future generation, that you must have the teachers. And that's where the transition comes in, where it's no longer just talking about acquiring the wisdom and applying the wisdom and practicing the wisdom. It's not about self-cultivation anymore. It now becomes, how do you become a good teacher of this wisdom? So 5, 6 is about becoming the great student. And 7 is beginning the praises for, to preparing yourself to be the teacher, right? Understanding that the praises to the Lord Buddha is actually contains a lot of information about making sure that you understand what it takes. It's not just, the techniques, but it's also the mind, the mindset, your attitude. So 7 really talks about not just the techniques of how one becomes a good teacher. You need the techniques as well, but you also need to have the right mindset. And 8 talks about the beginning, where the person, the Buddha himself, that the Buddha has accomplished, right? No defilement, no contamination, no attachments. And not only that, the Buddha is a great teacher of all, the trainer of elephants, the trainer of human beings and also people. So trains all different realms. And not only that, the Buddha is someone who can impact and influence people. So that's also very important. Through the praises that we see in the great in section 8, the great Lord of Sages, we also see that the Buddha himself, as a student of Dharma, he achieved no defilement, no contamination, and no attachment. He achieved that. Next, he's also in the praises of the great Lord of Sages. He's also the trainer of elephants as well, the elephants which represent the animal realm, as well as the human realm and the heavenly beings realm. All the realms in the world, all the sentient beings are trained and taught by the Buddha. Lastly, here we talked about the fragrance, right? The fragrance of Dharma permeates and lingers. And what that means is the Buddha has this capability where the Dharma actually remains even after all the time that he taught, right? So the fragrance remains and lingers. And not only that, it actually permeates. It seeps through the walls. It seeps through all the different spaces. And I think that's very important because the teaching itself is like it's slowly breaking through that mental wall. And just like fragrance, imagine this. Your eyes can see certain things, but it is blocked by the walls. So you cannot see what is beyond the wall because it's blocked your vision. However, smell does not. Smell can go around the corner. Smell can go a far way. And that's what it is. There's no bounds. You might not be able to see it, but you can smell it. Okay, so, and what it means is, it seeps through and it influences more than what you see on the surface. Okay, so that not only is the Lord Buddha, not only is the Buddha a great student of the Dharma, but Buddha is also a great teacher of Dharma. And the Buddha is also a great influencer, a person who can influence others, not just by being a teacher, but also with what he does. He could carry this motivation for many other people. That's what fragrance of Dharma permeates and lingers. Not only does it seep through the walls, but also lingers. Even long after he's gone, the teaching remains. And that is important. And these are all signs of how to be a good teacher. Next, we have section 9, where it talks about neither existent nor non-existent. And that's where we are moving, that's where we are heading to. And we'll continue on from previously. We're not going to go through all the things. But the main thing about the neither nor part, it's hard to explain what Dharma is. And therefore, it is easier to be explained by saying what it is not. And therefore, it's this. And more so, the reason why I believe that in the sutra, it talks about the Dharma is not this, is because there are people thinking that it is this or it is that. Okay, so in other words, and it could be very confusing. In other words, let me give you an example. So 2 weeks ago, our brothers and sisters from Sri Lanka returned to Taiwan, and they spent about a week more than a week here, and we had an opportunity to interact, and they were asking questions about Mahayana and Theravada, because to them, while Tzu Chi is more of a Mahayana, but to Sri Lanka, most people that practices Buddhism there are Theravada. And so they face many questions. People coming in and they would want to identify, what we're Theravada. So are you making me to believe in your school of Mahayana? And so we had a discussion and we talked about this. And I really believe that, at the time of the Buddha, there was no saying that it is this and it is not that. Because to the Buddha, there's no Mahayana or Theravada, right? There's only one teaching. There's only Buddha's teaching. And Buddha's teaching is not even Buddha's teaching. It's more like Buddha show us what's around us. The teaching has been there for as long as there has been. So the teaching has always been there. Buddha came to the world to make us realize that it's there. And I think that's very important, right? The Buddha did not invent these Dharma and teachings. The Buddha guide us to see the teachings, guide us to see these laws of nature, of life, of the world, and guides us to interact and to abide by all these laws, and then what we can get most out of this, right? Learn and also practice. So at the time of Buddha, I don't believe that there is a difference between Mahayana and Theravada. It's all the differences that's actually made by the eventual followers, where you get very, very specific. So I give an example. So I asked them, so before you came to Taiwan, I'm sure you had an opportunity to tell your friends and family, and also maybe coworkers, that you are coming to Taiwan. But you would say it differently. You would say to some people that you're coming to Taiwan for about 2 weeks, for a week. And maybe you would say to some other people, you're coming to Tzu Chi for 2 weeks. Or you would tell people, you're coming to Hualien for 2 weeks. Or you would tell people that you're coming to see Master for 2 weeks. It really depends on who you talk to. If you think that they know where Taiwan is, you would tell them. If they know who Master is, you would tell them differently. And if they don't know Master, but they know Tzu Chi, or they know that you're working with Tzu Chi, then you would tell them you're going to Tzu Chi for 2 weeks. And if they actually know all these, and you tell them, I'm going to Hualien. So to people that don't know Tzu Chi, Taiwan, Hualien, Master, to them, your 2 weeks is going to be very busy, because you're going to Taiwan, and then you're going to Hualien, and then you're going to see Master, and then you're going to Tzu Chi. That's 4 different things for the people that do not understand where you're going or do not understand all 4 of these things. But to the people that know what you're talking about, there's actually only one thing. You're coming to Taiwan, it's the same as you're going to Hualien. It's the same as you're going to see Master. It's the same as you're going to Tzu Chi. Now, if you break it down specifically, it's different. Taiwan is not Hualien. Hualien is in Taiwan. There is more than Tzu Chi in Taiwan. And in Tzu Chi, you see more than just Master. Yes, absolutely. You can break it down, and it's all very different. But ultimately, to the person that's coming, all 4 of these is the same. But if you want to break it down into details, they're different. And to the people that don't understand, don't know Tzu Chi, don't know Master, don't know Hualien, don't know Taiwan, well, it's actually 4 different things. So that's where the difference comes from. For the person that's teaching, for the person like Buddha, there is no difference, right? He knew, he knows. But for the people that's learning, all these 4 different things meant different things. They're very different, right? Taiwan and Hualien, yeah, geographically, Hualien is in Taiwan, but they're different, right? In Taiwan, there are different places. There's Taipei, there's, all these different places in Taiwan. And in Hualien, there's more than just Tzu Chi. So, and in Tzu Chi, there's more than just Master, right? You can see different people. So if you break it down in detail, it's actually different. But to the person that's saying it, it's actually the same. So coming back to what this section is trying to say, neither moving nor turning, it's trying to tell you, you can't pinpoint, you can't fix this one thing based on what was said. Oh, I'm going to Taiwan. Does it mean you're not going to Tzu Chi? No, I'm going to Tzu Chi. Oh, does it mean you're not going to Hualien? No, I'm going to Hualien. Wait, you say you're going to Taiwan? Well, yes, I have to go to Taiwan in order to go to Hualien. So it becomes one of the same, but if you want to break it down into very specific things, you're narrowing it down and it becomes what it is not. And that's what this section is trying to tell you. It's trying to tell us that do not try to pinpoint this. Remember, this is the section, this is the part, this is the sutra that's trying to tell the disciples, the students, that you need to become a teacher. But before becoming a teacher, don't just think that Dharma is what you know inside. It is not. It is not just the thing that you know inside. In fact, it's a lot more than what you think you know. Are you willing and are you prepared to learn what that is? All the things that you do not know. That is part of being a good student, and that is also part of being a good teacher. Are you willing to open yourself up to accept the teachings that you yourself do not know? Are you willing? Are you willing to learn? And if you are, then you're prepared to become an even better teacher. So that's why this section is here. Remember, Buddha is preaching to all the students to inspire them to become teachers. But if all the teachers, our mind is set on the very fixed things that they hear from the Buddha, then that's the only thing that could be carried on. Remember, Buddha knew the time isn't enough. So he had to pick the things that we understand. He had to pick the things that are most important. He has to pick the things that we understand, and then we can build on to interpolate, to extrapolate, to understand and extend from there. I'm sure the Buddha doesn't want us to stop at all the things that he said. Buddha wants us to learn more and feel more as we are gaining and learning. So the teachers must be the same. The teacher cannot tell you that it's this because this is what the Buddha said. And no, it's not that because Buddha did not say it. That's not what the Buddha wants us to stop at. You cannot stop at all the things that the Buddha said. You need to continue on because everything is changing. And most importantly, the Dharma itself is unlimited. Yet the time that the Buddha has is very, very limited. So he had to make sure we can and we are allowed to extend, to build on top of the teaching that he gave us. And this is my belief, right? Nobody said this. Buddha did not say this, but it is my belief that after reading and understanding and learning from Master Cheng Yen, that I really believe that extending is important, because you cannot fix on all the things that was said. Imagine if we're learning science and we are only learning the things that our teachers said, how could there be any inventions? How could there be any breakthroughs or progress, new progress in science? You can't, because it's only focused on what your teacher taught you. And believe it or not, if every teacher only teaches what he knows, then I'm telling you, then after maybe 3 or 4 generations, the knowledge and the wisdom is gone. Every generation builds on top of what was given. So it's the same way here in Buddhism, that rather than, you're training the next generation of teachers, you had to tell them, it is not what you think it is more. And it is the job of the teacher, who is the Buddha, to make sure that all his students can build on top of it. Therefore, as a teacher yourself, you have the job to make sure that your students in the future also build on top of it. Don't just be limited to what was said, okay? So that's the part about being a student and being a teacher. Being a student, you have the luxury to ask the teacher, what is it? What is it? What is it? Right? What is this? What is this? Please give me a definition. And if you don't understand, you can ask the teacher. But as a good teacher, he doesn't tell you definitively what it is, but it will tell you and guides you to figure the answer out yourself, to figure out the right answer yourself. Because what I give you might not be the right answer. It's the right answer for me, but it might not be the right answer for you. That's what this section is really about, okay? So neither right nor wrong, nor gaining or losing, right? The truth, the teaching might be right for me, but it's not right for you. You have to figure it out. You have to figure it out yourself. And my job as a teacher is to guide you, is to share with you, this is my answer. This is how I feel, but you have to figure it out yourself. I will give you, I'll pave the road for you so that you can walk on it. But you have got to walk on it yourself to figure out where the road leads. Okay, so the truth, the teaching guides you to do what's right. So the teacher also guides you what is right. So itself, the truth is not right or wrong. Neither blue nor yellow, nor red nor white. So what about colors, right? What does this mean? And I always make this analogy where if a person was born blind, a person that has visual, optical defectives at birth, that means he cannot see. Imagine a person that cannot see. How does the person learn the colors? Red, right? How? So imagine you're explaining, we are learning the color. When we were young, we were given the color here, and then the word red. And then we make this association visually. Because color red is not something that you can hear or smell or taste or touch. It's something that's visually. So you learn by this. But for somebody who is blind, born blind, so he could not see at birth, how would he be able to know what the word red really means? So somebody will hand him an apple and say, this is red. This is a red apple. So he takes a bite and he touches it and he feels, oh, so this is how red feels like. No, it is not. It just happens to be a red apple. This is how red tastes like. A bit sour and a bit sweet. No, it's not. It happens to be how this red apple tastes like. So the more you think about it, the more you tell them what is red, the more it misguides them into thinking that's what red is. It tastes this way. It feels this way. It's a bit hard. It's a bit this big. It's round. But it's not. It's not, right? So we get misguided because we focus on the things that we can touch. So same thing. For somebody who doesn't understand, you go to Google and you will Google Taiwan, and there's a map, and then there's a Hualien, and then I'm going to tell you Taiwan is different from Hualien. You're going to Taiwan is different from you're going to Hualien. That's very specifics, yes, but it's already misguided. It's already misguided, okay? All right, so that's not how the truth is taught. And it's something like you have to figure out yourself. So this whole section, right, it's really telling you that the Dharma itself is not something that the way you learn Dharma has to be very associated with, has to be very somewhat different from the way that you're going to teach Dharma. And before, this is how you learn. Now I'm going to tell you, this is not going to be how you teach, because every student is different, because every student requires different ways of teaching. So you cannot just use what you have in your head to tell people that this is what it is. You can guide them to understand, but you cannot tell them that this is what it is. You have to let them figure them out. That's the way of teaching and guidance. So a great guiding teacher guides the student to learn and to figure out for themselves. It does not tell, the teacher does not tell the student, this is what it is. Over here, make a left turn. Over there, make a right turn. And that's definitively the only way. No, that's not it. Okay? So that's why I really believe this section is tailor-made to explain Dharma. To whom? To the teachers. To the students that's transforming to become the teachers. They must know that how you learn Dharma and how you become, how Dharma has become so close and familiar to you might not be the same as how you're going to approach and teach to your students. And that's a very important thing. Okay, so until next time, we're going to meet again next week. We're going to be talking more about the next chapter, next section, finally moving on from the neither nor section. We're going to be thinking about, okay, so how do we become an even better teacher? But before that, we have to be a good student, and that is to be on time. Okay, thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks so much, Brother Joe. Keep your video on, please. We'll take a photo. And thank you for being a great guide, all of us. And journey of how we can contemplate about the truth is. All right, so if you can turn on your video for everyone, and we'll take a photo before Brother Joe goes off. Right, who's our photographer for today? Sister Lily, Sister Effie as well.
One, two, three.
Okay, great, excellent. Again, thanks so much, Brother Joe. Now, from the north, we're going to go down to the south, to Singapore. We have Sister Su Ching, which is not the first time you're with us. I've been with us on this platform before. And she's going to speak about the Tempeh by Tempeh. Incidentally, I just happened to come back from Indonesia. I had a lot of that. All right, platform is all yours.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. And thank you, Brother Joe, for the wonderful Dharma sharing. So today, I'm going to share about promoting plant-based diets lah. So thank you to Sister Su Ching for giving us the opportunity to share once a month about 推素, how we promote vegetarianism. And I think some of you might know that we have a Tzu Ji food pharmacy in Singapore that is dedicated to promoting a whole food plant-based diet. So in the process, I think a lot of us are healthcare workers. We have been trying to read up on all these plant-based protein sources. And one of them is actually tempeh, which is a really wonderful plant-based protein, okay, which I'm going to share with all of you today. Okay, so just a little bit about my personal experience, okay, because I have been wanting to donate blood for like many years, but I face like 3 obstacles lah. Okay, so the first one would be my weight, because I don't really hit the minimum weight needed for blood donation all the time. Okay, so it is one of the things that I've been trying to work on. Okay, so increasing weight, right? As per Dr. Eddie, what we need to do is to increase our protein mass, okay, our muscle mass instead of increasing our fat mass. Okay, so as you all know, we should actually increase our protein intake and also work out to increase our muscle mass. Okay, that's how we can increase our weight. Okay, so that's something that I've been trying to work on over the years. And the other thing that I face would be the hemoglobin levels. Okay, because we know that to donate blood, you need your hemoglobin to be at least 12.5. Okay, yeah. So that's for ladies lah. Okay, and the third one would be my blood pressure lah, which actually I think for most people we are worried about high blood pressure, right? But for some of us in the community, probably because of our gender and our small build, we actually face like a marginally low blood pressure. It's our normal, but for blood donation purposes, you need it to be at least 100 mmHg or systolic. Yeah, so but after learning about the benefits of tempeh and consuming more tempeh, right, actually I realized that all these problems actually self-resolve. Okay, so this is my personal benefit lah, even though like I you know don't have like any major illnesses or anything, but tempeh itself has a lot of nutritional benefits that I feel can actually help a lot of people. And in Indonesia, like what Brother Chin mentioned, right, it's actually a meat alternative that is very, very prevalent. Okay, so tempeh is actually from Indonesia, which later we will learn more about. Okay, so just want to let everyone know that the contents of today's sharing, right, would be from this book called Tempted by Tempeh. It's actually written by Dr. Su Ching. He is a professor in nutrition, yeah, from Indonesia, and he's also the president of the World Vegan Organization. Yeah, so so all this a lot of very impactful and very a lot of good knowledge from this book. Actually, he actually won an award for the best book on fermentation for writing this book, Tempted by Tempeh. Okay, so we will let's dive into it. Okay, so firstly, what is tempeh? Actually, I can tell you that a lot of my patients, a lot of the friends around me, they don't know what is tempeh, even though we live in like Singapore, Malaysia, there's a very big Malay community. Yeah, so now I've been trying to encourage my patients and my friends and family to take more tempeh. And a lot of them, the first thing they tell me is, what is this thing? I've never heard of it before. Yeah, so tempeh is actually a fermented soybean cake lah, okay, that originated in Indonesia. And it's also, as per Dr. Susianto, Indonesia's gift to the world lah. Okay, so the written records, right, actually put tempeh's development at around 1700. Okay, although some historians have suggested that its origin may go back as far as 2000 years or more ago. Okay, so it's actually a very, very long and rich history. Yeah, so we are very most concerned about health, right? So what are the benefits of fermented foods and tempeh? Because tempeh is a fermented soybean cake. Yeah, so okay, yeah, we all love fresh food. Okay, whole food plant-based, we focus a lot on fresh food. But fermentation, when done properly, right, has its advantages, which is what this whole sharing is about. Okay, so firstly, fermentation provides more variety in our diets. Okay, so other than eating like tofu, bean curd, all this, yeah, there's always a tempeh option. So fermentation inhibits the growth of microorganisms that cause food to spoil. So it allows us to consume seasonal foods like fruits and vegetables when they are not available fresh lah. Okay, especially in the past where there's no like fridges lah. So second, fermented foods contain friendly bacteria and enzymes that pre-digest various food components before they enter our digestive tract. Okay, so this is a very crucial concept that actually gives it a lot of its health benefits, as we will see later. Okay, through fermentation, protein becomes amino acids and complex carbs break down into glucose and fat turns into fatty acids. Okay, through this pre-digestion. Okay, so it really helps in absorption. Yeah. Okay, so this means that when these nutrients are closer to the form to which the digestive system absorbs and what the body uses, okay, especially like if you hear people, they have like gut problems, yeah, then perhaps if they take fermented food, it's easier for them to absorb all these nutrients because their gut doesn't have to work so hard, it's already pre-digested. Okay, so as a fermented food, tempeh has an advantage in terms of nutrition. So on top of that, tempeh, unlike other foods made from beans, is not associated with flatulence, okay? And it's also good for those who wish to control their salt intake, as no salt is added during the process of making tempeh. As we all know, like for other fermented foods, like kimchi and all, actually they do add salt, yeah, and sugar as well. Yeah, so tempeh is actually a very healthy way of fermenting, as you don't need all this SOS to actually do the fermentation. And it's also a wonderful source of antioxidants, okay, which we're all concerned about. Okay, so nutrition of tempeh. So this is a very important table found in the book, okay, that it compares the nutrition of tempeh with the various meats like beef, chicken, and mutton. Okay, per 100 grams of the food. Okay, so as you can see, got the major groups of macro proteins, fats, and carbs. Okay, and then the calories on top as well. Yeah, so just to highlight a few things that is more significant. In my opinion. So firstly, protein, which is the thing that I lack, right, for me to gain weight. Yeah, so you can see that for tempeh per 100 gram, the protein is 20.29 as compared to beef, okay, which everyone thought that, okay, you need to eat like beef to gain muscles, right? Yeah, this is the general concept. It's only 19.42, and chicken and mutton would be even less. Yeah, so actually in terms of protein, actually tempeh is much higher than meat, okay? And the other good news is that tempeh has 0 cholesterol. Okay, so as we all learn in plant-based nutrition that in order to get like the benefits, health benefits from all these meat products, right? It actually comes as a package. You have to take in all the cholesterol and all the saturated fats and all together. You cannot break them up because it is, as you know, comes together. Whereas for tempeh, there is no cholesterol, so you don't have to worry that, you know, taking all these proteins in will actually increase your cholesterol as per the meat products, right? Okay, and then yeah, calcium. So this one is really very mind-blowing to me because I've always been advising my patients, oh, you need to increase your calcium intake. Okay, yeah, at risk of osteoporosis. Yeah, and of course, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you want to increase your calcium? Cow's milk, right? So milk products. Yeah, but actually, as you can see, tempeh has a very high content of calcium. Yeah, you know, of course, compared to beef, chicken, and mutton, all these meat products, the calcium is not that high, but per 100 grams of tempeh, actually the calcium is 111 mg, which is a really, really good source of calcium. Okay, so I would recommend like all the ladies or postmenopausal or anyone who wants to increase your calcium intake to have stronger bones, please take tempeh. Okay, and again, for my case, my hemoglobin, okay, I need like iron, okay, to make the red blood cells. Yeah, so yes, so the iron content of tempeh is actually even better than red meat, okay, like beef and mutton. As you can see, highlighted here, per 100 grams of tempeh, you have 2.7 mg of iron. Okay, as opposed to beef, which is only 1.99, chicken is definitely less, and then mutton only 1.55. Yeah, so in terms of nutrition, like I would say that tempeh actually trumps all the meat product now. Okay, so when I really study stable, I'm like, whoa, this is really good stuff, man. Tempeh, yeah, it's really very good for us. So yeah, very amazing. Yeah, so here's a short TED talk about like 7 minutes. It's actually this young gentleman from Indonesia. So he is very intrigued by tempeh, its health benefits, and he has this mission to spread the goodness of tempeh to the world. Okay, so let's just hear him out and then see, like, you know, further understand about what's the benefits of tempeh, not only in terms of nutrition, but also the environmental aspect lah.
I first realized the amazing potential of this one particular Indonesian food when I was obsessed with bodybuilding. I was doing my undergrad in the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta, when I tried every single source of protein that I had access to. I tried consuming whey protein, meat, egg, and milk almost every day. However, consuming these foods either left me financially broke or bloated. So using my biotechnology and food science background, I began searching for scientific publications for better alternatives exist out there. Well, to my surprise, the answer is tempeh. Tempeh is a fermented food typically made using soybeans that originated in Indonesia 300 years ago. Since then, it has been a staple due to its taste and affordability. It's a type of food that you would get if you can't afford meat. So it's basically a source of protein and a meat replacer, if you will. After dedicating 5 years to completing my PhD in food science on tempeh fermentation, in 2021, myself and other experts published the Tempeh Bible. So we summarized more than 50 years of tempeh publications and on tempeh fermentation also, and here are some insights that we'd love to share with you today. First one, on nutrition. Compared to beef, tempeh contains similar amounts of protein, energy, and iron, significantly lower amounts of saturated fat and salt, and significantly higher levels of fiber and calcium. Secondly, is about the energy efficiency. So that means how many grams of protein that we can produce for every unit of energy. Here is megajoule. So beef produces 4.4 grams of protein, while tempeh produces 17.3 grams of protein. That is almost 4 times more energy efficient. And third is about the emission efficiency. That means how many grams of protein that we can produce for every kilogram of carbon dioxide equivalent of greenhouse gas released to the environment. Beef produces 7.1 grams of protein, while tempeh produces 157.8 grams of protein. So that is more than 20 times more emission efficient. Last but not least, in terms of cost, tempeh can be 8 times cheaper than beef in Indonesia for the price per kilogram of food. So, tempeh is nutritious, sustainable, and affordable. Well, these figures are mind-blowing facts to me, as I imagine they are to you right now. But for quite a while, tempeh has been my way of realizing my life calling, which is to give people access to nutritious, sustainable, and affordable sources of protein. However, after co-running the Indonesian tempeh movement and the UK-based plant-based food startup, Better Nature, there's been one interesting thing about tempeh that most people have not fully aware of. It is that tempeh is not just a food. Tempeh is a fermentation process that can transform a huge variety of ingredients into more delicious and sustainable foods. The fermentation process binds its ingredients with this one white body fungi, make it sliceable, so you can cook it just like meat. Well now, can you imagine if we shared the skills of tempeh fermentation to all corners of the world? Many crops will find new ways to be cooked. Many inedible ones would find their ways onto people's plates. We would see new kinds of tempeh that we would never imagine before. But more importantly, we would have access to an amount and quality of food that we've never had before. Well, this movement has actually started. So based on publications, there are actually 21 crops that have been successfully made into tempeh and meat alternatives. They can be incorporated in favorite local recipes. And even sometimes, these tempeh-based dishes have been preferred over their original meat-based versions. Now let's take a look at some examples. We have white bean tempeh burger in Brazil. We have fava bean tempeh wat, a traditional stew in Ethiopia. We have buckwheat tempeh soba noodle in Japan. We have common bean fried tempeh for Vietnamese food as well in Nigeria and Tanzania. We have lupin tempeh meat alternatives, so vegan meats in Europe. We have hemp seed tempeh sandwich in North America. But not only that, until now, I keep discovering new local or even ancient crops have been successfully made into tempeh. Here in Molo, Nusa Tenggara Timur, Indonesia, a food activist made tempeh out of rice bean, incorporated in his local version of sourdough sandwich. And lima beans, famous in South America, typically require 12 boiling cycles to remove its natural toxin. These beans can be made more readily edible and safe to consume with tempeh fermentation. Now, with all those amazing facts about tempeh and tempeh fermentation, I would like to end my talk with an invitation to imagine. Have you ever wondered how widely popular foods like pizzas and burgers spread to all corners of the world? Well, interestingly, it happened through a crisis, World War II to be exact. People needed an inexpensive and delicious way to feed themselves. That's why these foods stepped in to help people on that front. Well, now, we've never been in a more serious crisis than what we are in now, the climate crisis. Now, this is the time when tempeh fermentation needs to spread to all corners of the world as Indonesia's best kept secret on how to produce nutritious, sustainable, affordable, and delicious foods. Thank you for your attention. I hope you can join this tempeh movement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So this is a sharing by this also a doctor, who actually was looking for alternative protein sources and he discovered tempeh as well, something like my case. And he really thought that tempeh has so much benefits, not just in terms of nutrition, but also in terms of energy efficiency and also the climate crisis, right? Yeah, so tempeh is really Indonesia's best kept secret, no longer a secret now. Okay, so now let's deep dive into the benefits of tempeh, health benefits of tempeh, which is all from the book Tempted by Tempeh. Okay, so firstly, for growth, okay, so actually not just limited to children, I would say actually for all of us as well, because protein is a very important macronutrient, okay, so just a general nutritional information, protein is used to form, repair, and maintain muscle tissues, also provide structure for certain cells in the body, transporting and storing nutrients, forming hormones that help in nutrient absorption and stimulate growth in various tissues. Yeah, so protein is our repair and growth guy in the body. Yeah, so tempeh is a good source of protein, okay, because there's this thing called a protein efficiency ratio, which tempeh has a high protein efficiency ratio, as we learned earlier. So it's also, again, the fermentation process, okay, removes the inhibitors of trypsin, okay, so this is an enzyme that the body produces that used to digest protein, okay, so increasing the availability of protein in the tempeh that we can digest, okay, so next up, tempeh is also high in minerals, okay, for growth, because minerals are also important in helping the body grow and develop. So this high mineral level of tempeh is due to the formation of the enzyme phytase, okay, during the fermentation process. So again, because of fermentation, so phytase breaks down phytate, which is a compound found in soybeans that binds to minerals, preventing the body from absorbing them. Yeah, so in fact, tempeh is superior to soybeans, because it has this phytase that actually can help us remove the phytate, okay, so we can absorb minerals better. So what minerals are we talking about? Okay, so zinc is one of the example of the mineral in tempeh, which actually with increased bioavailability due to the formation of phytase. So zinc is needed for cell growth and division. It also has a biochemical role in maintaining metabolic processes, stabilize cell membranes, and activates the growth hormones, okay? So that's zinc. And also calcium, that's another mineral that we have been talking about. So calcium is also more easily utilized by the body with the help of phytase. Okay, and calcium is needed to build and maintain strong bones and teeth. And the third one is iron, okay, as mentioned, is needed to form the red blood cells that carry oxygen around the body. Yeah, so these minerals are all more readily available and absorbed by our body because of the fermentation process in tempeh. Okay, so next, let's look into brain development and function. So, okay, there's no single food out there that can give us all the nutrients we need for a healthy brain, but tempeh contains many brain-boosting macronutrients, so it's a very brain-healthy food, okay? So firstly, it contains carbohydrates, which is our major macronutrient, okay? So it's broken down by the digestive system into glucose, which is the brain's main source of energy lah. Yeah, so furthermore, carbohydrates in tempeh are available in the form more easily digested and absorbed due to the enzymes amylase and glucoamylase that are also present. Okay, so again, fermentation, enzymes, and then we have like all this breaking down of the food source. Okay, tempeh also contains protein and fats, which are needed by the brain. So amino acids, okay, which are the building blocks of protein, obtained from breaking down protein, which are essential for brain function. So brain cells transmit messages chemically using neurotransmitters, which are made of amino acids, okay? Yeah, so it's also very important. So tempeh's fermentation process produces soluble nitrogen in tempeh, promoting the production of the enzyme protease, which helps break down protein. Yeah, okay, so again, through enzyme, okay, that is available through fermentation, and it helps break down the protein into amino acids. This means that the protein in tempeh is more easily digested and absorbed, okay, as opposed to soybeans. Yeah. As about 2/3 of the brain is made up of fatty acids, fat is also an important nutrient for the brain. So it's the third macronutrient that we're talking about. So although tempeh does not have a high fat content, most of its fat consists of polyunsaturated fatty acid, okay, which is our healthy fats lah. So notably, some of it is the omega-3 that we are very concerned about, okay, an essential fatty acid. And omega-3 fatty acids affect the brain-related processes, such as the production of neurons and memory formation. Okay, and other than that, tempeh also contains a micronutrient, as mentioned earlier, zinc. So zinc, a deficiency in zinc is linked to lower cognitive performance. Yeah, one possible explanation is that zinc helps with the development of neurons, which brain cells use to communicate with one another. Okay. Okay, so one serving of tempeh, okay, is like 1 cup, provides about 1.89 mg of zinc, okay, or 17 to 23% of an average adult's daily required intake. So it's actually higher than what you have in chicken, which is only 1.47 mg. Okay, and next we move on to our heart. So why is tempeh heart healthy? Okay, it's because of its fat content again. So unlike many sources of protein that come from animals, tempeh has a low fat content. Okay. So furthermore, most of the fat is unsaturated fat, which is good fats, which can help lower LDL cholesterol level, which is our bad cholesterol, right, as you all know, and which lower the risk of heart disease. On the other hand, saturated fat, which is found in animal products, especially red meat, elevates the risk. Okay. So another factor that makes tempeh heart healthy is that it has the most abundant fatty acid found is omega-6 linoleic acid. Okay, so omega-6 is an unsaturated fatty acid, okay, that decreases LDL. And omega-9 is also the second most common free fatty acid in tempeh. It is considered a free fat that is useful for the body. It consumed as a replacement for saturated fat. It can reduce the LDL cholesterol level in the blood, okay? And because it increases the HDL, which is the good cholesterol instead. Okay, so maintaining lower cholesterol levels in general reduces the risk of cardiovascular diseases. Okay, so thus foods like tempeh have no cholesterol and also aid in lowering the LDL cholesterol levels. Okay, yeah, so if anyone has high cholesterol, please take more tempeh, okay, as we have learned. Okay, and the other type of fat is triglyceride. Okay, this triglyceride content in soybeans is low, and it's further lowered during tempeh fermentation process. So the body uses triglycerides to store unused calories and deliver energy around it. So a high level of triglycerides, mainly from like oily food puts us in danger of heart disease because it promotes the hardening of arteries and thickening of the artery walls, making the heart work harder to pump blood around the body. Okay, so next, what we are also very concerned about, aging. Okay, tempeh is a good source of antioxidant. So the aging process is influenced by a number of factors, including nutrition, okay, free radicals, and our immune system. So what's free radicals? They are unstable molecules that can damage the cells in our bodies. Okay, so although free radicals form naturally in the body and are important for normal cellular processes, too many free radicals can damage cell membranes, lead to premature aging, as well as diseases such as diabetes and cancer. Okay, so free radicals, not a very good thing. Okay, fortunately, tempeh is not only a good source of important nutrients like protein and carbs, it's also rich in antioxidants. So numerous studies suggest that consuming 30 to 40 mg of isoflavone daily will have a positive impact on our bodies. Okay, those who are higher might need even more isoflavone, which is an antioxidant. So tempeh also has antioxidant factor 2, which is a trihydroxyl isoflavone, which has strong antioxidant properties. Okay, so this compound is synthesized during the fermentation process. Yeah, so fermentation is really a good thing, man. Yeah. Tempeh is a good source of, oh yeah, so the next one is for bones, which we already has been reiterating. Good source of dietary calcium. Okay, so outstripping foods like beef, chicken, mutton, and one serving of tempeh, 1 cup, contains approximately 184 mg of calcium, or 23% of the recommended daily intake. Okay, and then the second last part would be on anemia. Yeah, which is how I managed to increase my hemoglobin level. Okay, so yeah, we need to consume enough iron to combat anemia to increase our hemoglobin. Okay, so tempeh is a very good source of dietary iron. It has even more iron than beef, chicken, and mutton. So one serving of tempeh contains approximately 4.48 mg, or 24 to 56% of the recommended daily intake for an average adult, which is pretty remarkable. Yeah, so aside from having a higher iron levels than the 3 kinds of meat, an advantage of iron that is from plant-based food, right, is that it's associated with low risk of gallstone. Okay, because as we all know, there are 2 types of iron, the heme and the non-heme lah. So animal-based foods is the heme iron, okay, which is better absorbed by the body, but also has the risk of gallstone disease lah in men. So non-heme iron, which is found in plant-based foods, is not associated with this risk, but correspondingly is also less easily absorbed by the body. Okay, so thankfully, the absorption of non-heme iron can be increased by consuming vitamin C rich food alongside non-heme iron foods. Yeah, so please remember to take your vitamin C during your meals. Okay, it's easily achieved in healthy diet featuring green leafy vegetables, berries, and citrus fruits. These are your sources of vitamin C. So to prevent the loss of iron gain from tempeh, right, avoid taking calcium supplements and drinking coffee and tea with meals, as consuming these will decrease iron absorption. Yeah, so this is one point that take home message that we can have also. Yeah, try not to drink coffee and tea with your meals. Okay, yeah. Okay, and then the last part on the digestive tract. Okay, so tempeh actually helps to improve our digestive health and addresses diarrhea and constipation. Okay, so tempeh is a gut-friendly food because it contains probiotics, okay, which are bacteria that which is form the good bacterial colonies in our gut. So probiotics and other good gut bacteria promote healthy digestion. So on top of that, probiotics are linked to helping diarrhea sufferers recover slightly more quickly, and possibly to help the body fight the germs causing intestinal infection. Yeah, I think we all know that there's a lot of hype about probiotics going on nowadays. Everyone is taking probiotics, right? Yeah. So secondly, tempeh benefits digestion because it has a lot of fiber. Yeah, okay, which the body needs for healthy bowel movement. So fiber promotes the movement in the digestive tract because it retains moisture in and adds bulk to undigested matter passing through. Okay, yeah, so it's a bulking agent. Higher intake of fiber is likely to be helpful in addressing constipation, as you all know. So an added bonus of tempeh is that unlike many other legume-rich foods, it does not produce flatulence because it's been so-called pre-digested by the fermentation. Okay, so digesting it should not result in excessive gas and gastrointestinal discomfort. Yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah, and so all this we just like had this deep dive into all the benefits of tempeh as stated in the book Tempted by Tempeh, which, as you can see, it benefits all like different systems in our body, yeah, including our heart, our brain, digestion, our bones, and our blood. Yeah. Okay, so tempeh is really a very amazing food. Okay, so next up we have a video that kind of like summarizes what we just spoke about. Okay, and then a little bit more about how you can prepare and cook tempeh. Yeah, so let's watch this video together.
Have you ever wondered about the origins of tempeh, that delicious, nutty, and protein-packed food taking over the plant-based world? How did this humble fermented soybean dish go from being a centuries-old staple in Indonesia to a global superfood loved by vegetarians and foodies alike? Join us as we dive into the fascinating history of tempeh, uncovering its traditional roots, cultural significance, and how it became a star in kitchens worldwide. The exact origins of tempeh are somewhat obscure, but it is widely believed to have been developed in Java, the most populous island in Indonesia. Historical records suggest that tempeh dates back at least several hundred years, with its first mentions appearing in Javanese literature from the 16th century. One such text, the Serat Senthini, a Javanese manuscript compiled in 1814, references Tempeh Kedelai, soybean tempeh, indicating its long-standing presence in the region. In its earliest forms, tempeh was likely a product of necessity and innovation. Soybeans, which were introduced to Indonesia from China around 2,000 years ago, became a versatile crop for local farmers. Through trial and error, they discovered that fermenting soybeans using specific molds not only preserved them, but also enhanced their nutritional value. The fermentation process, facilitated by Rhizopus oligosporus, produced a product that was not only rich in protein, but also easy to digest, a crucial factor in regions where meat was scarce or expensive. Tempeh quickly became a cornerstone of Javanese cuisine, valued for its affordability, versatility, and long shelf life. Unlike tofu, which also originated from soybeans but requires extensive processing, tempeh is relatively simple to produce, making it accessible to rural communities. Its earthy, umami-rich flavor and firm texture made it a favorite ingredient in a variety of dishes, from stir-fries to soups. One of the most popular traditional dishes is tempeh goreng, where slices of tempeh are marinated in spices and deep-fried to golden perfection. Another classic preparation is tempeh becem, a sweet and savory dish where tempeh is braised in coconut water with palm sugar and spices. Over time, tempeh also became a key protein source in nasi campur, mixed rice dishes, and street food offerings, further cementing its role in the daily diet of Indonesians. Tempeh's importance extends beyond its culinary uses. In Javanese culture, tempeh is seen as a symbol of humility and community. It is often associated with modest, plant-based diets and reflects the resourcefulness of Indonesian people in making the most of their available resources. The fermentation process itself is viewed as an art form, requiring patience and skill to perfect. Nutritionally, tempeh is a powerhouse. The fermentation process not only increases its protein content, but also enriches it with vitamins, minerals, and probiotics, which promote gut health. Unlike tofu, tempeh retains the whole soybean, providing dietary fiber along with essential amino acids. Its nutrient density made it an indispensable food in times of scarcity, particularly during colonial rule and World War II, when meat was a luxury. While tempeh remained largely confined to Indonesia for centuries, its global journey began in the 20th century. Dutch colonists who occupied Indonesia for more than 300 years were among the first to recognize tempeh's potential. By the early 1900s, tempeh was introduced to the Netherlands, where it gained a small following among vegetarians and those with connections to Indonesia. The real turning point for tempeh's international recognition came in the 1960s and 1970s, during the rise of vegetarianism and the natural foods movement in the West. Tempeh's high protein content and plant-based origin made it an attractive alternative to meat for vegetarians and vegans. Researchers and food scientists, intrigued by its health benefits, began studying tempeh's fermentation process and nutritional profile, further boosting its reputation. In 1977, the publication of the Book of Tempeh by American authors William Shurtleff and Akiko Aoyagi played a significant role in popularizing tempeh in the United States and other Western countries. The authors, inspired by their travels in Indonesia, provided detailed instructions for making tempeh at home, making it accessible to a broader audience. Today, tempeh is produced and consumed around the world, from Indonesia to Europe, North America, and beyond. Its versatility and adaptability have made it a favorite ingredient in a wide range of cuisines. From traditional Indonesian dishes to modern fusion recipes like tempeh burgers, tacos, and stir-fries. In Indonesia, tempeh remains an integral part of everyday life, with many families and small businesses continuing to produce it using traditional methods. Despite its growing popularity abroad, tempeh production in Indonesia is still largely artisanal, relying on locally grown soybeans and age-old fermentation techniques. In the West, tempeh has become a staple in health food stores and vegetarian restaurants, with commercially produced versions available in various flavors and styles. As the demand for plant-based proteins continues to rise, tempeh has found its place alongside tofu, seitan, and other meat alternatives, appealing to both vegetarians and flexitarians. While tempeh's global popularity continues to grow, it faces some challenges. The production of tempeh relies heavily on high-quality soybeans, which are often imported in regions where local soybean cultivation is limited. Additionally, the fermentation process can be sensitive to temperature and humidity, requiring careful monitoring to ensure consistency. Despite these hurdles, tempeh presents significant opportunities as a sustainable protein source. Compared to animal agriculture, tempeh production has a much lower environmental impact, requiring less water, land, and energy. Its sustainability, combined with its nutritional benefits, has positioned tempeh as a key player in the future of plant-based diets. And that's the incredible journey of tempeh. From its ancient origins in Indonesia to its rise as a global favorite. But as we wrap up, one can't help but wonder, what's next for this humble yet powerful ingredient? Will it continue to shape plant-based diets and inspire new culinary creations? Thanks for joining us on this exploration of tempeh's history and impact. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and
Right.
share.
So yeah, this is quite a long video, but it's quite a comprehensive video on tempeh, including the history, some of the how it's being spread from Indonesia to all over the world lah. Yeah, so just now it mentioned like what's the future of tempeh, right? Actually, you know, like the author of the book Tempted by Tempeh, Dr. Su Ching, actually, they are also working very hard on tempeh technology to make better tempeh, increase the shelf life. And recently he shared with us that actually they came out with a way, technique to so that tempeh can be stored at room temperature for like 1.5 to 2 years without spoiling. You know, like nowadays, when we buy tempeh, we need to put it in the fridge, yeah, so that it can be preserved and then not have like the bacteria growing lah, because after all it's a fermented food. Okay, so this new technique is actually successful already, and then they are going to share this more in the future, like to the world. Okay, so next time perhaps tempeh, it won't be like, you know, in the fridge anymore. It can be just readily available anywhere. You know, you can buy it from anywhere and at room temperature. Yeah, so basically there's a lot of potential for tempeh lah. Yeah, and then as you can see, it is really very life-saving for us vegetarians. Yeah, because of the high nutritional content, and also a lot of plant-based meats nowadays are highly processed. Okay, so tempeh itself is actually a very has a lot of advantages lah compared to all the other protein sources. Yeah, so that's the end of my sharing, and I really hope that everyone can enjoy the benefits of eating tempeh. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for Su Ching for the great sharing on the tempeh. And I didn't know so much until I hear from you. But I'm sure you have a lot more to share. Like for example, you were sharing, I was wondering, tempeh, how's it compared to natto beans? Which is quite common among the Japanese, and maybe you can also share with us some of the findings on the statistical findings on health for people who consume tempeh. I'm sure you all have some of this data. Perhaps next time that you can share with us. All right, great. Thank you so much, Sister Su Ching, and highly obviously beneficial for us. And I'm so Sister Su Ching. Okay, on tempeh. All right, so now from Singapore we go up north again to Hong Kong. The Sister Su Pig is gonna share with us lessons, change, and mission. 早晨，師姐。You're muted. You're muted. So you got to turn on your mic.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm not fluent in English, so if I cannot explain it, I would like to use Cantonese or Mandarin. Please accept my apologize. 亲爱的善人，弟子师父，brother and sister, good morning. This is Su Peggy. 上次science given to me the Dharma name is Yilu. Before I start, I would like to interaction with all of you. Do you ever know what's your Dharma name meaning? For me, firstly, I think it must be science remind me to be a good guy, and then to like the morning dew, to moisture everywhere and love everyone. After that, I came across passage from the Hualien 意境，就是是哪一句？就是讲不完，sorry。美丽仙堕以演入尘，未必见过以验一生。就是这this sentence bring me 就是so like that bring me that I must be a good guy, and then I must like the morning dew to minimize my sorry. I must have a pure heart, maintain a pure heart, and then to love all being. Um, so I always remind myself. Um, sorry. Okay, let me sharing. Um, my topic is lesson, change, and mystery. Uh, why I want to share this topic with you? Because I think um, I want to share my journey in Fiji with you. Um,
The sound coming out from your side is not that great. You maybe I'm not sure. Maybe you can go near the mic.
so I take out the earphone.
Go ahead and see.
Okay.
It's okay.
There's no noise.
No noise.
No, there's not background noise. There's
Hello,
still
hello.
not background noise. Right. I can hear you louder now, but there's not background noise. Seems.
Can hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will start. This is my Dharma name, Yilu. The first step into Qi. 2017, I met my sister Karen. She showed me to Jingxi Hall. Once I arrived Jingxi Hall, I feel very peaceful. She told me the story of bamboo band, also the 50 cents, and also Jingxi Shifu self-sufficiency, no meat, no work, and no meat. I'm so touching by this. So I became a regular donating member, began the monthly donation. And then 2018, my sister invited me to have the activity to visit the homeless. The first experience of volunteer, visit the elderly who living alone. And then we offer care in interaction to the homeless. We call them jail, the friend on the streets, not a homeless. At that time, I saw loneliness behind the Hong Kong city. This planted the seed of compassion in my heart. And then the next year, And then the next year, Sister Karen invited me to join the year-end blessing ceremony. This is the first time I joined this. When I saw the year in review, 大将军, this is record the real life action and effort for global volunteer. It's so touching. I cannot force the tears to drop down. The man who sit beside me give me a tissue and then said, "Are you okay?" This is the tear for grateful. I realized that to help the suffering, not only compassion, but action are most. We all know that the pandemic from 2020 to 21, I became a commissioner trainee in Zhang. We all know that COVID pandemic swept across the world. It stopped everything, but it cannot stop TG volunteer. We don't afraid of the COVID. We protect ourselves and then press forward. to ensure the anti-epidemic supplies reach the social welfare institution. Also, the jail, the homeless and the elderly, also our Chichi family. We continue to caring the elderly, homeless, and disadvantaged group. I also attend the education support. I realized that while giving, I receive the most. The next year, I'm so grateful can be returned to our spiritual home, 我们心灵的故乡. Can see 商人. We traveled to our certification ceremony. During the 5 days, we listened to 商人开示, also the sharing by the 金师师父智慧水. And then I feel very warm because the sister and brothers greeting us very warm, just like family. Unfortunately, I got the COVID at the end of the trip, but they treat me just like their daughter. I'm so touching. During the camp, every night we finish the course and then we go back to the dorm. I can see a lot of the senior brother. They hold the light and then say "Gan An, good night," and then lights the way for us. It's so touching. It's always remind me I have to hold the light to light the way for anyone. And then after I back to Hong Kong, I respond to the mission of charity and education. This is the elderly we take care over 12 years. This is Tempeh, Uncle Tim. He's a nice guy, but he had no relatives. I think he's so poor. So I take care of him too much. Because as he has no relatives, even he go into the hospital for treatment, he have no one to visit, no visitor to see him. And then the nurse asked him, "Why nobody see you?" He just a smile and then nothing. After last year, he got the lung disease. And then after that, he became very weak. And then always very tight. And then the choking air. So I suggest he go to visit our TCM clinic. It's so blessing that it's so grateful. Last year, with the science blessing, we have set up a Thai TCM clinic in Kowloon, where our doctor treat the patient like family. This is Lei Yi Dr. Lee. Through the synergy of charity and medical care, our long-term beneficiaries have overcome chronic illness through holistic treatment care. Dr. Lee set up a treatment, advanced treatment for Uncle Tam, acupuncture, herbalist, also the cupping. After few months, before that he got the rarest 静脉曲张, the serious, when it becomes serious, his leg bleeding. It's very poor. And then I asked him to visit and then have a treatment. After that, we found that the issue have improved very much. We are so grateful this result. Sorry. Sorry, maybe I missed this. This is Sanyan. And then apart from the charity, I'm also will take care the children and the teenagers for the education. This is another case, and a beneficiary case. A single mother and daughter who facing mental health and financial struggle. The case was reported by the NGO. The daughter was suffered depression due to domestic violence by her stepmother last year and school bullying, so she self-harmed and tried to end up her life few times. When I saw this, I'm so heartbreaking. Her mother showed signs of anxiety disorder due to the financial and emotion burden. When we take up this case, after we have a meeting assessment, we provide 1 to 8 mental health counseling by our volunteer who is the nurse of the mental health. And then we know that he had to learn English, so we have free tutoring for her to join, and a long-term caring, they become better. Apart from the charity, I'm also attend the education parent-child class. Although the participant is not too much, but for my mind, I think even though one children and the parents can learn about to love oneself and others, to be a good guys, I think is enough for me. The children learn through the games, developing their good character, empathy, correct value, especially to love oneself and others. We strengthen their awareness of environmental protection, seeing the parents seeing the children grow positively. Parents are deeply grateful for the dedication of the volunteers. 其实, we are so grateful we can see the result is enough. Last year, I visited Hualien for a trip. I experienced the earthquake. When we go to the primary school, we meet the 蓝天白云. I'm so proud and so grateful to see sister and brother. And then I immediately asked, can I be a volunteer to help anything? We prepare eco-friendly tent and the foldable bed for them as a shelter, and then prepare vegetarian meats. And then after they settle down, we comfort and support those affected by suffering. Just hold their hand, give them a heart, and then just stay with them. That experience deeply moved by Gigi, disaster response and compassion. I'm so proud I can be a member of Gigi. I'm so grateful. The lesson what I learned from Gigi, compassion is not only a compassion, it must be with the action. And the value of life depends on our goals, the right goal to give this and the spirit of mission and volunteer. And my growth from emotion to action, every step is a form of cultivation. Apply master's wisdom in daily life help me a lot in my job, communication with my friend and my family, be more patient and be more tolerant. 就是的近期语 I like most is 心宽念纯。When I face challenge, I will. The 近期语 remind me when I face hard time, either my job or volunteer or the communication with my colleague or sister, I will remind me 心不难，事就不难。Everything will be all right. My mission and aspiration, as I said before, I want to be people to be someone who light the way for anyone, to care with love, to relieve suffering through action, and to offer meaningful aid to those in need. I'm responsible as a committee of charity. When I encounter any issue in between compassion or anything, I don't know how to manage. I will try to be 慈悲与智慧，就是to find a way to be do much better, or seek advice from senior sister to try to get some more detail and advice. Not yet finished. It's too short. Sorry. And let me sharing because my parent had passed away. I'm so grateful I can be here in TG. I use my body. My parent gave it to me. I use the love I must show to my parents to treat to all the being our benefit. 我们的案假，不好意思，to caring, just like the child with depression, I will always call her and to learn about anything, to fall into how she thinks, to keep close to make safe, to encourage her. Hope I can stay with her. I sorry. I think it's finished. Cảm ơn.
Sister, want to continue? Go ahead. Go ahead and continue.
My presentation is complete. Sorry.
Okay, all right, all right. Yeah, we are in no hurry, sister. Okay. All right. You mentioned about setting up your goals, right? You mentioned about setting up goals.
Yeah, my goals.
Yeah. Can you maybe share with us how do you set up those goals?
Set up my goals. Actually, I'm so busy with my work. Every day I have to overtime working for a few hours, and then I request myself. I have to attend any activity if need me. So I will put into the charity and also the education mission of education. I feel I like most. I think it's my responsibility.
Okay.
So I will try my best to find a way to help the sister to complete my tasks.
All right. So I'm when you speak earlier on about your goals, I'm trying to relate that to when you do your commissioning, you also have set up your vows, right? Which are the bodhisattva vows, right? The 4 great bodhisattva vows. Right? Vows
Sorry.
number 1. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
So the 4 bodhisattva vows, obviously, that's the direction in which we're heading, right?
The vows.
So, yes. So the vows are obviously to help liberate sentient beings, right? How to deliver sentient beings. So, and here you are, you set your goals, and just why I'm trying to relate how these goals relate to the bodhisattva vows.
My goal is to do better, be a better volunteer. Anywhere, everywhere, anyone need me, I try my best to fulfill.
Excellent. So if I then understand you correctly, is that you have actually, which is a very good method, the way that you were saying, I have the great vows that I have, right? In the great bodhisattva vows. And I break it down day by day, which we are doing day by day, and then week by week, year by year, season by season. So you start off, if I can use the word, you start off with a pledge. This is what I'm going to do. So like one master say, a big step, you start with small steps. And you do it step by step to progress to the word very well.
Yeah, I do. Sorry. My actually my goal is be 提燈照路人，做一個。
Yeah, so you okay.
Because I like to caring about the homeless. We visit the homeless twice a month. I think they are not only lead our vegetarian meal, fruits and something like that, the herbal tea, but they want to be we listen and caring. No, to be stay with them. Before we have a homeless, he's dependent. And then a storm, and he fallen down and broken arm, and we help him to go to rent a small house, and then become a new life. And then we continue to visit him to keep encourage him to go back to the normal life. This is all we want to see, but to be frank, it's so hard. Maybe we visit 10,000, 100 homeless. If we can success changing 3 peoples, we win. Yeah, but we will not give up. We will
Fascinating.
try.
Great. And how often you do this, sister?
How often? Tonight, and every the second and the third Saturday night, we will
Oh,
visit
right.
different districts. We have our team have major have 5 team member, the core member. We will 行持 to do. We keep going. Although no one join, although the comments is no good, we don't lose hope. We keep our mind. 我们的初心，we want to see the result. We keep going. And then
Okay.
and also the children, the parent-child class. Maybe someone think this is just like a play group, but I don't think so, because we plant the seed in their hearts, and then maybe today no change, but the seed is in their hearts when they
Absolutely.
grow up, and then she will influence their friend, family.
Absolutely.
It works. Yeah.
So tell me what by doing all this, tell me what is or share with us, what is the biggest lesson you learned from it?
This is positive. It's positive lesson. Actually, I'm a layman. I just office lady. I don't know anything. After I joined TT, I know I became a superwoman. I know how to do this, do that. I'm so strong. I can hold heavy thing. Oh, incredible!
Right.
So
So
I learned.
you
I
have
learned. Yeah.
you have learned to discover your potential, your spiritual potential.
My spirit too. Yeah, of course, sure. Yeah.
Why?
I very like this. I always don't you know that now the economic is very no good. I tell my mind, if I become fire, I will go to Hualien to become a volunteer. Maybe this is 最好的安排。
我明白。Fantastic. Okay, so you look at you now. You look back before you joined Su Ching. I'm sure you have changed a lot.
Yeah, changed a lot. Yeah.
And in what ways have you changed?
Become much compassion. Become more caring. Yeah. Maybe before I will caring, but maybe I will concern myself first. But now maybe I'm 50-50.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, that interesting you say that, because 50-50, you are putting the interests of others now coming to the fore, as opposed to every time in the past, it's me first, right? So now you got 50% putting others ahead or side by side with you. And that is actually what you're growing is actually benevolence. Benevolence is about putting this the interest of others ahead. And so with that, that's the reason why with that you are saying that you're dedicating your time help and in this home.
It's very actually it's very tight, frankly, but I need to. I have to. I must to.
Fantastic. And you know, that's why I must say serve tirelessly. That's our role model. You look at what Master is right now. Despite her aging condition, you still make the effort to continue to guide us. Look at Master, despite her aging condition, she continued to guide us daily.
Continue to guide what? Sorry.
Continue to guide us, all of us, daily.
Yeah.
So
it's our tutor, mentor.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, and I think the last point that's before I close off is, I just pick up the point that you mentioned, from emotion to action that you mentioned. That's a lovely way.
Emotion become action.
Yeah, action and compassion.
Yeah, I tell you all my secret. Actually, when I joined TG, so many volunteer. Anytime you have to insufficient manpower, you have to. And then why? I'm so tired. And then now I just do it.
Wow. Really lovely to share.
Don't you know the slogan? The 迟小班. The we have a team volunteer. We said 心動不如行動, just do it.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, just thank you, Kanan, so much for sharing, taking your time to share with us.
Thank you, Father.
And okay, and tonight,
And
your
please accept my apologize. Interpretation is no good.
No, they're fine. They're fine. So look, I understand you.
Thank you.
You understand. You brought up all the points which are very relevant, and the important thing, my sister, is that you have brought up the master's teaching and how you put that into action.
Yeah. In my heart, in my mind, and action.
Absolutely right. Okay. All right. Great. Thank you so much. And that's
have
all
a nice
the
weekend to all of you. Cảm ơn.
Okay. So, thank you so much, everyone, for staying back and also for heartfelt sharing by Su Ching. All right, great. So, with that note, that's what we have for this Saturday, and we'll see you back again next week. So, as we close, let's offer 3 vows to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Okay, rise. First vow. Second vow. Third vow. We now offer about the board masters. Wow. All right. Good night, everyone, and I'll see you back again next week.
Cảm ơn Brother Chin, cảm ơn Sister